soak through a streetlight. One whimper cuts the pouring air. Two eyes wide with silent prayer. Three blocks walked with shaking hands. Four walls rise where kindness stands. The storm outside begins to bend. Now your breath matches mine. Every shiver turns to light. No more hiding in the cold. You are safe here with more than till morning stirred. 8 breaths steady on the floor. 9 dreams knocking at the door. 10 heartbeats sink without a sound. 11 scars start healing down. The dark retreats from window glass. Now your breath matches mine. Every shiver turns to light. No more trembling in the rain. You're the hope I lost and found again. 12 steps taken on your own. 13 seeds and throwing stone. 14 dawns and you look back. 15 reasons not to Now your breath matches mine. Every shiver turns to light. No more counting broken days. You are home in every Street lamp flickers on wet stone. You curl beneath a broken phone. One paw lifted, barely there. 2 ribs showing through your hair. 3 steps closer through the pour. 4 walls waiting by the door. The thunder hushes as I kneel. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more wandering alone. You are seen, you're not ungone. 5 towels wrapped around your frame. 6 hours calling out your name. 7 breaths slow on the mat. 8 dreams where you don't look back. 9 days watching you sit tall. 10 times you didn't flinch at all. The window glows with morning strays. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more shadows in your eyes. You've got sunshine in your cry. 11 walks without a leash. 12 meals shared in patient peace. 13 nights you nudge my head. 14 reasons I still stand. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more counting wounds or fears. You are home and so am I here. Street lamp flickers on wet stone. You curl beneath a broken phone. One paw lifted, barely there. Two ribs showing through your hair. 3 steps closer through the pour. 4 walls waiting by the door. The thunder hushes as I kneel. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more wandering alone. You are seen, you're not ungone. 5 towels wrapped around your frame. 6 hours calling out your name. 7 breaths slow on the mat. 8 dreams where you don't. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more shadows in your eyes. You've got sunshine in your cry. 11 walks without a leash. 12 meals shared in patient peace. 13 nights you nudge my hand. 14 reasons I still stand. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more counting wounds or fears. You are home and so am I here. Street lamp flickers on wet stone. You curl beneath a broken phone. One paw lifted, barely there. 2 ribs showing through your hair. 3 steps closer through the pour. 4 walls waiting by the door. The thunder hushes as I kneel. Now your heart beats next to mine. Without a leash. 12 meals shared in patient peace. 13 nights you nudge my hand. 14 reasons I still stand. Now your heart beats next to mine. Every tremble turns to time. No more counting wounds or fears. You are home streak fur against cold stone, eyes like embers barely shone. You didn't flinch when I drew near, just held your breath and disappeared. I wrapped you soft in borrowed thread. Your heartbeat whispered, don't let go. Now you run where the wind blows free. No more chains, no empty cage, just sky and me. Every scar you carry sings of how the lost can learn to breathe again. Weeks of quiet, slow repair, stitches fading, trust laid bare. You'd watch my hands with wary grace, then nudge my palm, a timid trace. One dawn you stood without a sound and turned your face towards solid ground. Now you run where the wind blows free. No more chains, no empty cage, just sky and me. Every scar you carry sings of how the lost can learn to breathe again. You taught me courage wears no name, just steady steps through fear and flame. Now you run where the wind blows free. No more chains, no empty cage, just sky and me. Every scar you carry sings of how the lost can learn to breathe again. Breathe again.
Shivering in half light, can't quite find your face. Soft breath, endless space, your name just out of reach. Something in the silence, hands brushing away, falling. Echoes hold the night, almost say what I mean. Hold you when I can't speak, trace hope on your skin. You feel close in a while. Everything's kind, calm and dangerous. In my dreams, I'm still brave enough to love you. All the words I lost feel warm and true. Fear never finds me, only you. You say my name when oh goodbye. In that world we never lie. edges around you. Light and I watch you fade. Day pulls you away too soon. Wait for me tonight. Just this hush remains. Eyes closed, you breathe me. Almost honest, always almost. In my dreams, I'm still brave enough to love you. All the words I lost were worn and true. Fear never finds me, only you. You say my name, we know goodbye. That world we never lie. Rising like a tide, lie to you be lost. Every night I run back to you. In my dreams, I'm still brave enough to love.